So we're back with, the famous episodes of Pain Reality.
I don't know about famous.
I mean, we gotta speak it into existence.
Oh, you want to be famous?
Not really. I'm just saying
Oh,
that's how we're gonna call our episode.
oh.
So we were not with you guys present last week because I had to go out of town. So we decided we was gonna skip because you felt like we weren't prepared. Oh, you need to be seen.
Yeah, I mean, you always say I need to be seen.
Put me out there. Okay. That good.
Yep.
You seen?
Yep.
All right. So how was your day?
Who?
You.
It was long. It was all right though. Meetings at work.
The normal every day I go to work Monday through
Normal
Friday,
every
9 to
day.
5.
Yep. Normal 9 to 5.
Well, I mean, I tried to clean the house.
8 to 4:30.
I mean, I did clean the kitchen.
Yeah.
And I got y'all's food.
You did.
So I decided I was going to be his favor today. So I woke up at 5 o'clock this morning.
I don't know what you were trying to talk about at 5 o'clock, but thank you, Lord.
I be having a lot of stuff to talk about.
I know, Tia. I know.
He does not accommodate me when I have a lot of stuff to talk about in the mornings and have requested over this long span of how many years we about to be married?
12, 13, 14, 19, 13.
That I not talk to him in the morning. And for me, that's very, very hard.
She can talk to me in the morning just when I wake up.
That's the point. I wake up first and I be wanting to talk. I be having a lot of stuff to talk about. And like I be telling him, I be praying sometimes in the morning and I just need somebody to talk to. So I be texting people and just having to leave the text alone to a reasonable hour. But I was his favorite today. And I didn't talk to him. I let him sleep till he got up before I had any conversation. And I was up just staring. Like, how come he ain't up? Like,
don't stare at me, waiting on me to wake up.
You didn't wake up. I finally had to get up myself. But, it is what it is. I was your favorite today, and I didn't talk. So
I'm sure we'll talk about whatever it was at some point.
I don't remember that. It was a long time ago.
Oh, well, that's all right, too.
Whatever. So today, Ju and I decided to have a conversation of so I like to do play on words all the time. So I said, what's a piece, as in PEACE, piece of advice that married couples receive that's literally pretty much saved their marriage? A piece of advice that you could tell somebody else that literally creates an atmosphere of peace in your home. So that's what we're gonna talk about today. So, what's one for you? What's something you got for us? Let me get ready to
get ready for what?
So we can see comments when people get theirs.
I'm gonna go with the one that our first lady said. Just starting off, say keep people out your business.
So expound a little bit. Why do you think that's a good one?
Because everybody's got opinions. And more often than not, a lot of times, whoever you talk to isn't going to be what is it called? Objective.
Oh, okay.
They're not going to be objective. I'm not saying everybody, but then there's people that you deal with in your life that don't have good motives all the time. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So there could be somebody in your life that you telling your business to, and they just waiting for exactly that, so they can tell you, oh, we'll leave them, or this and this, or oh, well, you don't gotta deal with that, and da. So they can try to take your place like the backstabbers.
So, okay, do you ever feel like there's a point where you have to get somebody involved in your business?
Yeah.
Like what's some of the things you think is a reason to get somebody involved? And then not just a reason to get somebody involved, how much are you sharing with this person?
I mean, to me, it's when you need counseling. Like when you know what I'm saying? Like to me, getting counseling isn't telling your business. Right. Like to me, telling your business is, hey, my wife did this and oh my goodness, she gets on my nerves. Like she got on my nerves so bad. You know what I'm saying? Or like my husband did this. You know what I'm saying? Counseling is like, look, we're going to tell an objective person, a person who has nothing to do with our relationship, things that are going on so that we can come to a understanding and figure some stuff out. Telling your business is like you telling all the negative stuff. You telling what going in your bedroom. You know what I'm saying? All this different stuff. So I don't see those two as the same thing, but I feel like telling a counselor is telling your business, but not in the same way, so to speak.
Right. So the purpose behind it is different.
Right. You're right. The motive behind it is different.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So you remember when we had a conversation about seeking advice from like singles and stuff like that?
Yeah.
So when it comes to you, whoever, sought advice from a single person, remember we had that whole discussion. Like, where's that line then drawn to? I'm with my squad and I'm venting.
Mm-hmm.
Like, where's the line drawn at?
But like we talked about then, like I mean, like I said, there's when you're married, like we had talked about, a lot of people felt like, no, you don't get advice from single people.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, like I said, I don't totally disagree with that. You know what I'm saying? So again, it's seeking wise counsel. You know what I mean? Like, okay, if all my dudes is single and they still doing whatever it is they do relationship wise and don't have solid relationships or whatever the case, I ain't going to tell my business.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like, to me, that the line is still drawn the same, where it's like, okay, I'm not about to tell my business to, because put it this way, and not that people have people like this in their lives automatically, but like, if you're married and a person is single and you're telling them your business, there's only one person that got something to lose. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, depending on who it is, that person's advice to you, they might not necessarily care about your relationship, because they ain't the one about to lose their wife, husband, or whoever.
Okay, so my comment to that, because I actually agree in spurts.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm a domestic violence advocate,
right?
And it is the advice of people saying keep people out your business, don't be talking about what goes on in your home,
right?
That keeps victims silent too.
That's true. That's true too.
So sometimes I although I understand the purpose behind people saying that, sometimes I have a hard time
agreeing with it.
Yeah, I have a hard time agreeing with it. And it's like, so we can have a conversation and we'll say, okay, definitely when it's stuff like that, you need to make, but for somebody who it's been ingrained in them for years and years and years, and then they're victimized by domestic violence. Right. It's been ingrained in me for years not to share what happens in the family, or, not talking about what goes on in my marriage, things like that. So It's like, how do you then
differentiate?
Yeah,
I think, okay, so I look at it like this. It's not exactly the same thing, but I look at it like when we teach our kids not to talk to strangers.
Mm-hmm.
You teach your kids not to talk to strangers, not to get in the car with strangers and stuff like that. But if we're walking into the grocery store and an old person or somebody is like, oh, hey, how you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, making friendly chatter, like not extensive conversation.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you allow your kid to speak. You see what I'm saying? So like, it's just teaching society as a whole. Like, when we say don't talk about your business, it's like we said, it's the motive behind it. It's the different stuff. It's okay, why would you tell somebody else about your sex life?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Okay, why would I tell somebody else about all the things I don't like about my wife?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Why would I tell somebody else about all the things I don't like about my husband? You know what I'm saying? Like, that to me is what I mean by the business.
I mean, like, I agree, but I guess my thought process behind what I said is, how do you change that narrative when it's the bad stuff that somebody need to know about?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do you change that narrative? If this is my counsel, this is what we've grown up to believe, how do you then change the narrative? Because first of all, in situations like that, I don't want nobody to know anyway. It's embarrassing,
Mm-hmm.
whatever the case may be. But I'm also it's ingrained in me to not talk about what goes on at my home.
Right.
So how can you switch that narrative that, I mean, I guess for us, like, we got another generation that we raising. So it's like, okay, we can tell our kids, but that's a generational thing that people don't
Right.
talk about what happens at home.
Right.
So where we can have a good conversation that it's healthy, it keeps peace in your marriage to not share your business. What about that person who needs to share something for safety reasons? It's just different stuff to think about.
It is, but that's the thing there, and that, like, even in life, there's most times there's exceptions to every rule.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And that I think is what people have to understand is like there's exceptions to every rule. So whereas, don't tell all your business about your marriage, that's not telling your business. That's a safety thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That's the thing where that could end up life or death.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? So I fully understand what you mean, because if you do ingrain that, and it starts, like you said, it's generational. So to me, it starts with kids. Yeah, you tell your kids you don't tell our business out in these streets, but at the same time, you also teach your kids what safe touch is. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
What, hey, nobody should be touching you there. You know what I'm saying? Nobody should be touching you. You don't get in the car with anybody. You don't, you don't talk to strangers in a sense of long, drawn out conversation with strangers. Saying hi to, you know what I'm saying? Like somebody walking past you in the store that says hi.
Being polite.
Yeah, being polite. Like teaching those things. And like you said, it's generational. So it's not going to change tomorrow. We probably won't be around. Right. We won't be around for it to change.
Yeah.
Communication is key.
It is.
That's what we're trying to figure out is like, how do you communicate that? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, because you can say it all day, but if this is what I've known for 18 years,
right,
you want me to change it in one instant in some situations, you know what I'm saying? Or you want me to change it in 2 years. And it's like, yeah, but this is ingrained. This is me. It's almost like you said, like a private person. A person is just private, doesn't talk about their personal life. You know what I'm saying? And not because they don't know that this is dangerous and can hurt me. It's, I don't talk about I handle things.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, my advice to that would just be, you gotta balance it. You gotta balance it. If it means your health or your safety, I would say, speak up. Speak up. Tell somebody your business. If that's the business.
Tell it all. Tell your business.
If your business, it means life or death, tell your business.
Yeah, I agree. All right, what's another one you got?
No, what's another one you got?
I mean, it's your podcast.
You keep saying that, and it's not.
It really is.
It's Pain Podcast.
No, it's called Pain Reality. It was your last name first.
Oh Lord. Another one. What is this? Advice?
Yeah, a piece of advice that have saved your marriage.
We already said don't tell nobody your business. Don't tell people your business.
We said that.
Yeah, I was gonna say it again. And this one kind of came from you, kind of like, but I've heard it before. Like, keep dating.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, just like in anything else, sometimes momentum slows down. You know what I mean? So like, you got to keep it fresh. You got to have you time. Like, we got a lot of kids, but in these 13 years, we figured out or found ways to make sure that, we still date. We still have our time. We still, where the kids at? I don't know. They're not here. That's what I do know. Like, now I'm just playing. We always know where our kids are. It's just a matter of, us time. Like, always us time.
Okay, so with that piece of advice, like, what's a healthy balance of making sure you maintaining that? Like, if that brings peace to your marriage by, and so for me, I totally agree, because I feel like, if we're investing so much time in our kids, which I think we should,
right? Once
our kids are gone and grown out of our house and it's just us, and we've failed to invest in us, like so something I've always said is, the Tia today is different than the Tia when I met you at 18.
Right.
So if you haven't taken the time over that long period of time, and granted, we've only been married almost 13 years.
Right.
If you haven't taken the time to invest to grow with me as I continue to grow, and vice versa, by the time our kids is gone and out of the house, we're going to be looking at strangers.
Right. We still, looking all bad.
So what's a good healthy balance, you think? I mean, I know everybody have, it's the typical make sure you date once a week, y'all got date nights and stuff like
Right.
that. But okay, you said we got a lot of kids. So how can we maintain that? Like, and the reason I'm asking all these questions so y'all know is for me during sports season, date nights become non-existent.
No, not non-existent. Just
So date nights
less
become
frequent.
date nights become non-existent. So I mean, but that's really something I've been thinking about though, because that is something that we've always tried to maintain.
Right.
When sports season hit, and not just that you sitting watching sports, but Julian played every sport imaginable.
Boy played 2 sports.
Yeah, every sport imaginable. Those is the two major sports that take up all the time in the world.
It's more sports imaginable, but
you get my point. So how do you still maintain, if that's the piece of advice, how do you still maintain that? Like, cause y'all get home from football practice at what, 8 o'clock?
Yeah.
Where are we going? Kids got school.
I mean, it's not 8 o'clock every day. I mean, like that, but that's the thing. It's like it might change or adjust. Whereas date night might be Thursday during certain seasons. It may change to a weekend day during other seasons. But I mean, a healthy balance, I think, is still even if because it's not always feasible to do every week. You know what I'm saying? Maybe once a week or once.
No, but okay.
Can I finish?
I know, but I don't want to get
all right,
past
go
this.
ahead. Go ahead.
So if the advice is to keep dating, and yes, I do understand that, sometimes, it ain't gonna happen every week.
Right.
But, and this is why I think this could be actually a conversation we have. Where is the balance? Because although there are things that happen in life that may prohibit you from going maybe that week, I don't think sports and all of that other stuff should be the reason, in my opinion. So what I'm saying is, because it is a thing that happens in our house, how are we going to now compensate? Because he will get home at 8, or y'all get home at 8, and I don't want to go out at 8 on a weekday. So what is our balance? I guess what is our balance going to be? Because that's a piece of advice that keeps peace in your home.
Right.
So how do you navigate when these seasons start? Like, do you just let it fall to the wayside? Or what is your shift? What happens in the shift to make sure that's being tended to?
I mean, I think some of it is you don't let it fall to the wayside, but you, like I said, switch days, or you just become more creative. I think sometimes date night can be in the house, like depending on, you know what I mean? Like you said, okay, we get home at 8. All right, you can watch a movie at 8, you know what I'm saying, 8:30, 9 o'clock. I think you just have to be a little creative at times.
That's your advice?
Yeah.
Okay. That's his advice, y'all.
What's your advice?
I'm this your podcast.
Oh my goodness. I said, what's your advice? Oh, okay, so it's my podcast. I'm asking you, what's your advice?
For this particular topic?
Yeah.
I personally think that even though you shift, you still have to make sure it's happening.
Yeah, that's what you said.
That's my advice too.
Oh, all right. So we on the same page.
Yep, we are. So a piece of advice that I was given is to this is something that we got during marriage counseling, and I've never forgot it. And so I will start this piece that I got by saying, and I've been honest, I am the one who will always talk about divorce. That I'm the one. However, a piece of advice that I got that I still have never forgotten, and it always plays in my head, is if it's not big enough to make you really start thinking this is a deal breaker.
Right.
Work your way through it.
Yeah.
So that's a piece of advice that I've always thought about. Like every time something happens, it's like, okay, is this a deal breaker?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and if it's not a deal breaker, then you need to sit down and you need to communicate. You need to talk about it. You need to work it out.
Yeah.
And so that's been one thing that, like, even with me saying divorce when those times have hit, always thinking like, is it really a deal breaker?
Right.
Like, people make mistakes. So is it a deal breaker? Is it something that says I'm going to totally change the trajectory of our marriage and our life,
Right.
is it a deal breaker? And if it's not a deal breaker, then you got to work. You got to figure it out.
Yeah.
And really try to figure it out.
I remember that.
Yeah, so I've always remembered that.
Mhm.
Another piece that I always remembered, and I guess I've never remember I had said on the one we did where I said I always thought marriage for us was gonna be easy.
Mm-hmm.
Advice that we were given was not everybody is gonna be for you.
Right.
And I did not get that.
Right.
Like I'm just thinking, like to this day, I remember thinking, nah, we good, it's me and you.
Mm-hmm.
Like I literally thought that until I realized not everybody was for us.
Right.
And so a lot of times when you smacked in the face with not everybody is for you, it's hurtful. But then figuring out how you're going to adjust and change your perspective to be like, oh, okay,
right.
Like what are we going to do now? Because literally not everybody is for us.
Yeah, no,
like,
that's literal.
Like some people literally want you to fail or want to see you fall on your face or that why I go crazy every time our anniversary comes.
What do you mean go crazy?
Like posting our picture, doing all that type of stuff.
Because you laughing in the face of the establishment.
What? No, that's not why.
Why?
Because I get so excited that
we made it another year.
That we literally made it another year against all odds. All the stuff.
Right.
Like we actually made it through the divorce talk, through the separation talks, through all of those things. Like we've literally made it another year. So I'll be excited. Dog, man, not only have I known this food for
why I gotta be this food?
Because that's how I'll be talking to myself in my head.
Yeah, that's how people used to talk about me in college. Remember, I had to be that little. What your deal breakers were before marriage.
I ain't done yet.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. We'll get to that in a minute, Ashanti Monroe. Go ahead.
That's old.
What is that?
Yep.
She just said that at 9:21. It's 9:22.
That's not what I'm talking. You already know.
Oh, you talking about when I had to be the little dude?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. You remember that? Your friend was funny.
You was so corny.
Nah, they was corny.
Whatever.
You remember that?
So moving on.
You still talk to that little? Yeah, buddy. Where you at? No, just playing.
Did you really just do that?
Wow. Yeah, I just went off on him.
Wow. You're crazy, dude. That's funny though. Okay, yeah, so Ashanti says, did you guys talk about your deal breakers? What our deal breakers were before marriage? Absolutely not.
No, unfortunately, we did not.
Yeah.
Ashanti.
Do we got deal breakers?
I don't have no deal breakers.
I mean,
I mean, anything short of you attempt to kill me, that's pretty much a deal breaker. But I mean, I don't I don't know. I'm like, is there anything really that, like I said.
Why did you say that?
Stuff. Huh? What you mean?
Attempting to kill you?
Yeah, because that's a deal breaker.
Is it?
Yes.
Nobody trying to kill you is a deal breaker. Yes. Why would that be a deal breaker?
What do you mean? Why?
I'm just saying. I thought it was worth the conversation.
I won't be able to sleep, eat.
Yeah, I don't think we really talked about it.
We didn't know. We definitely did.
Yeah,
not.
We never actually we never talked about what our do. But I'm going to say, Ashanti, I think the reason we never talked about it is because me and you did life for so long together.
Right.
That I don't think we ever thought that something was going to hit us that would make us not still be doing life together.
Right.
So yeah.
No, that's definitely a fact. That's definitely a fact.
I mean, that's how I feel, Ashanti. Why would a murder plot be a deal breaker?
What, man? You don't understand.
I don't know
how you live in life with somebody plotting. She said that makes sense. Of course it
No, that's not what she's saying. What makes sense is we kind of never thought something would hit us that made us think that.
Yeah.
I that's a good question, but I never thought about that. I never thought we was gonna have a deal breaker. Even when infidelity for me, hindsight is 2020 was a deal breaker, but we're still together, so clearly it wasn't a deal breaker. So I guess that would probably be the only one. Domestic violence is a deal breaker for me, but by the time me and you got together, I knew that wasn't going to be an issue for us.
Right.
So I guess we just never really talked about stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, is that something that you should talk about? You know what a deal breaker is, though.
I mean, I think so. I would say my advice would be yes. Um, but I would say yeah, but then
Say no,
I would say
like,
no because
yeah, that's I'm
to me,
thinking
like,
no.
and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying people go into marriage with this kind of mindset, but to me, like, if you're dealing with somebody who may not be ready to get married, or you're dealing with somebody who may have maturity issues, you know what I'm saying, or you're dealing with somebody who has those type of issues that like of infidelity and stuff like that, those type of thought processes, talking about your deal breakers for some people is going to be okay. I'm gonna push the envelope
Mm-hmm.
because you already told me you're not going to leave unless I do this.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna do everything up to that and just not make sure I don't do that.
that's so. That's like a
It is,
that
but
could be a whole different conversation. But that's like real for somebody to literally think that that's very
it
immature.
is. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, think about how many marriages end in divorce and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that people don't talk about their deal breakers, but like if you're giving somebody, if you're letting somebody know, then their mindset changes. You know what I'm saying? Their mindset can change and be, oh, she ain't gonna leave me, he ain't gonna leave me.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, yeah, your deal breakers can change and stuff like that. But to me, it's almost like part of growing together and learning the new person that you're married to.
right.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, okay, I knew the old Tia, the single Tia, the college Tia. You know what I'm saying? The married to somebody else Tia. But then when we get married, it's like, yeah, we could say, okay, well, we talk about our deal breakers. And I'm sitting here like, okay, then I know what I can do where she ain't gonna leave.
Mm-hmm.
Or vice versa, as opposed to like, no, you just go into it and you're like, listen, these are the things that are respectful in a marriage. These are the ways that I show my wife or my husband I love them. You know what I'm saying? And I want to be with them. And then, okay, because your deal breakers can change.
Right.
So what happens if I talk about the deal breakers and tell you what they is, you do all this other stuff, and I'm like, man, we done. She gonna come at me and be like, but you said that wasn't a deal breaker.
So I would actually I don't think it's a good idea to I don't know. I feel like that's the conversation of, we filthy rich, and we had to have a conversation of a what's they called, what's the thing people sign before they get,
Prenup.
yeah, the prenup. I
Mm,
think that's kind of like the same thing.
mm,
Like, I would never sign a prenup, like, ever.
never.
No,
What if you wasn't with me shooting in the gym?
I don't even know what that means. I wouldn't, like, I don't. The reason I wouldn't have the conversation of a deal breaker is
Mm-hmm.
kind of like what you said.
Right.
But I just feel like if I have to have a conversation of what's a deal breaker for me,
Mm-hmm.
my expectation is we had to have this conversation because I
Right.
suspect you might do
You
something.
might hit one of these deal breakers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, so I think that's setting yourself
Setting
up for
yourself.
failure
Yeah.
to think like
Planting
that.
that seed of negativity
Yeah,
already.
yeah. So I personally wouldn't. And now that I think about it, I'm happy we didn't have that
Mm-hmm.
conversation, because I think a lot of times when we set our in our head that this is a thing for me,
Mm-hmm.
we people can be immature and manifested.
Right. Right.
You
Right.
know,
Yeah.
and then the devil get to whispering in your ear,
Yeah.
and then all of this stuff that's why I always think, like, I truly understand why don't let the sun go down on your
Right.
wrath. Like, I get it.
But like
Like,
to me, and I'll use a sports reference. It's almost like if if I have a guy that knows he's gonna get traded,
mhm,
is he ever gonna play 100% for me? You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
if he's on my team and he knows, hey, you leaving in a week, you leaving
yeah,
in a month. There's no like naturally, there's no way in the world he can get on the court or the field and give me 100%. You know what I'm saying, of what he got.
mhm,
Like he can, there's no way. Because naturally he's like, well, I ain't gonna be here too much longer anyway. So like I look at it kind of like that, like, okay, you didn't gave me the keys to do some stuff.
right,
And I'm not saying everybody, but this is how some people go into marriages where they already have the thought of I ain't necessarily ready or I'm not mature enough. You know what I'm saying? So you giving them type of people the keys to like, okay, go ahead, keep poking, keep poking,
yeah,
keep poking. Oh well, you didn't get to the and you notice it's going. Oh, I mean, we work in the field, so the cycle of violence, the cycle of abuse, and stuff like that. Just that honeymoon stuff where it's like, okay, well, I know she'll buy her some flowers or get this, buy him something nice or da da da. I mean, like I said, I can see having the conversation, but then I just think it in some instances sets you up for failure. What did my man Marcus say? He said most marriages end due to financial problems. A prenup actually protects both parties in the case of divorce. I mean, I can agree with that a prenup does or can protect both parties, but I also feel like I'm not getting married to get divorced.
But that's why I wouldn't sign a prenup. Now, I'm not saying that things don't happen that warrants getting a divorce.
Right.
But I would hesitate to walk into a marriage with the thought that I protected myself just in case.
Right, right.
I feel the same way. Like if you had those type of conversations,
right, in
the back of your head, there's an end date.
Right.
Like there's an end date for you when you sign that. Like, okay, yeah. So for me, I just
because I'm letting you know this because
bye.
I think you're gonna do it. Who is that? Oh, thank you. Appreciate you. I need a haircut, but cool.
Just okay.
All right. So
that's it.
Where we at? No, I didn't read those. Pressure. Why you way down there?
Because I be showing the comments and you don't be.
Oh, okay, but you ain't read them or nothing.
Going into a marriage is like becoming the first parent. You never. Yeah, I guess I agree with that.
Yeah, okay. I mean, because you gotta learn, you gotta grow, you gotta.
I agree. Talking about deal breakers is too much pressure.
It's pressure, Willie. It's pressure, Willie
That's
Dingle.
That's Tierra, by the way.
Oh, sorry, Tierra Dingle. It's pressure.
I agree.
Yeah.
Most people don't. I mean, although I think during marriage, okay, so I think if you're going to marriage counseling, like most people don't have to talk about, the differences in how we were raised.
Right.
And what the expectation is for our kids. So that was a piece of advice somebody told, I mean, after the fact,
right.
But we didn't have that conversation.
No.
And that would have been a helpful piece of advice that could have really helped us. Most of the issues that has hit our marriage is because of parenting.
Right.
So that was a piece of advice that came long after the fact, that if we would have had that conversation beforehand in counseling. And I mean, I guess that's the purpose of counseling, is those things that should be talked about. You have a safe space to talk about those things. Right. I still wouldn't make that where I talk about deal breakers though.
Right.
Like I wouldn't do that. So that's my point. What else you got?
I mean, I think the going to counseling one is a good one.
Ooh, that is good.
I would say, and like for me, it's 2-part, where it's go to marriage counseling before you're married, but then don't be afraid of counseling when you're married. You know what I mean? Especially in the Black community, counseling is kind of sometimes looked down upon, frowned upon. And I would just say, like, if you are married or you're planning on getting married, you engage, go to counseling.
Okay, so I have a question about that. Do you think marriage counseling, but do you also think it's necessary to go to individual counseling? And not necessarily because you have stuff, but marriage is a big deal.
Right.
Like that changes your whole entire life.
It does. But like, I want to say yeah, and I want to say no. I want to say yeah, because you might have stuff that you need to deal with. You know what I'm saying? But I want to say no, because if I go to counseling, like let's say we get engaged and then I start going to counseling, and I unwrap all this stuff and then I bring it to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're already engaged. I'm like, I get it. But I think that type of discovery and talking about how it affects or is going to affect or can affect our marriage is a conversation that we probably need to have together. Because if I go to counseling alone and all this stuff bubbles up and comes up, and I come back to you and I'm like, I don't want to get married no more.
I mean, that's the reality that can
It is.
happen.
It is.
But that would be a good decision.
No, I'm not saying it wouldn't be a good decision, but I'm also saying like I don't know.
No, I mean,
That's why I said yes and no.
I mean, I actually get that, but that takes a strong individual to say, I went to counseling and all this stuff
Right.
came out, and I realized that I'm not in a good space to get
Right.
married.
Right.
I don't want to put this on
Right.
somebody else that I love.
Right.
That's a good decision.
And I okay, I agree. And this okay, so for me looking at it, okay, like going together and learning those things, whatever they may be, even if they're individual things, learning them together gives both parties a chance to then, you know what I'm saying, to make to reevaluate and then make that decision together. Yeah. Because you might go to individual counseling and be like, yeah, he told me this and this and this and this, and I still want to get married. And that other person like,
no, I don't.
Yeah, like, girl, please. You know what I'm saying? Or like that's too much for me to deal with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay, so Marcus said in 10 years, he's just not learning how to communicate thoroughly. We got to break the stereotype society placed on Black men. Being strong, not allowed to cry, got to take it on the chin and keep pushing. Like, listen, we can literally have a show literally just about that comment.
Yeah.
Because I thoroughly agree. I think that's a detriment to the family structure as a whole. Mm-hmm. With that mindset. So definitely agree. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think it should be together and separate too, because you never know. Like for me, it would have been beneficial for me to go to counseling separate, mm-hmm. even when we started marriage counseling. Like marriage counseling, if there's no reason for me to delve deep, going to marriage counseling is not going to bring up issues that like later hit us in marriage, mm-hmm. based off of stuff that I should have got counseling about. Mm-hmm. So, but I mean, again, that takes somebody with a totally different mindset to be in the space to say, I don't think I'm ready to get married until I can deal with this type of stuff. Most people don't do that with themselves. Like they just literally don't.
Right.
Okay. The Dingle said, I don't think we would have made it without counseling, especially in the beginning of marriage.
Likewise, Dingles.
Yes, likewise. Yes.
Okay.
Oh, congratulations.
Lewis.
Do you mess up everybody's name like that?
That's my guy, man. That's my guy. Said he joining the club. Congrats.
Yeah.
I almost lost my phone because I was so shut off from counseling.
Mm-hmm.
What's up?
Like, I mean, I think it's
I'm glad it helped you, bro.
I think I had to go to counseling. Like, I literally had to go to counseling and deal with my stuff.
Okay, so when I like, that's why I said yes, and you know what I mean, because it's for me it's twofold. Where it's like I do think that okay, individual counseling is great and can be great and very helpful, but then I also think there's some stuff that okay, we need to be counseled together on this. All right, we'll join the club then, Ashanti.
So okay, since we're talking about the counseling piece, let's say, you know, pre-marriage, you went to counseling, I went to counseling. Is it a point of then coming back and talking about what we discovered together? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, that you know, that's what I'm saying. Like, because part of marriage is the discovery of each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, as you grow and stuff like that. So, yeah, even though we're in individual counseling, like some of that stuff still needs to be shared. You know what I mean? And like you said, having that safe space to like openly speak. Sometimes people can only do that or will only do that in the presence of like counseling and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because it can be a difficult conversation. Like, okay, we didn't talk about necessarily how we were raised separately, right? So okay,
yeah, we was like deeply married by the time we ever had that conversation.
You see what I'm saying? So like, okay, if you go to counseling and you talk about all of that, that's still not a comfortable conversation for you to come back and have with me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So like, if you're comfortable in the presence of a counselor where you know it's a safe space and you know it's like, okay, this is a judgment-free zone, even if it's right here, like, okay, even me being present is like, okay, I'm in a safe, I feel safe enough to divulge this in this setting.
But you know how much inner work that takes in general, though.
Yes,
So
yes.
I personally think that counseling is an amazing thing, but to his point, I also think it has to be between that husband and wife to make having those hard conversations a part of our
Right,
communication.
right,
And if we can't
right,
do that, like it can't always be the safe space of a counselor.
right. No, for
Like,
sure,
so
for sure. But that's why I said it's if you go to counseling and that helps you
yeah.
have that conversation, then by all means, you know what I'm saying? But if at the end of the day, the only time or only way you're going to feel comfortable is in the presence of a counselor, I think it has to be together, because then that stuff will come out. Because if not, then it's like, okay, well, you did all this inner workings and everything individually, but we still ain't had no conversation about it.
Yeah, but I mean, although so I agree in part, but I also think like I said before, like, can we talk? Like,
Yeah.
I'm
And,
outside of the
but that
presence of that.
right, but that's what I'm saying. Like that's what I'm saying. Like you're saying the same thing I'm saying.
I find it best to seek pastoral counseling, though. That I do too. It helped me understand roles better. Women wanting to be loved unconditionally, and men want to be loved by being respected as head and king of home. So I went to pastoral counseling when I finally had to deal with my stuff. I will say though, I don't always tell people to seek out pastoral counseling because sometimes I think it's some natural stuff that people got to work on. So in the case of us, we went through family counseling that was not pastoral. We went through just a normal guy coming to our home a couple times a week while we did intensive family counseling. And I think that helped a lot, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, and for me, like, it helped a lot. But okay, so do you think the reason why that helped as much as it did is because spiritually we were in two different places? So for me, where I can seek out spiritual counseling and I can accept the spiritual counsel, I don't think not every person is ready to receive the spiritual counseling, if that makes sense.
Right.
So then I think at that point, I'm closed off because spiritually I ain't ready to receive this spiritually. But somebody can say it the exact same way, minus the spiritual aspect of it, and I can receive that and still be ready to continue on, or walk in a space of being healed in this area. Would that make sense?
Yeah. But I mean, I think that the approach is different. And I think that's one of the things um that helped or can help, because like you said, a lot of people are natural thinkers. So if you give me, and I'm not saying pastoral counsel doesn't do this as well in some aspects, but a natural non-pastoral counseling is going to give you homework. You know what I'm saying? Or they're going to have tangible things right then and there that you can work on or write up or got to think about in that moment. You know what I'm saying? So like
Pastoral counseling does too.
no, that's what I said. Not I'm not saying it doesn't all the time, but like you said, even if you're not spiritual to that extent, like okay, you might receive it better from that not the pastor, but that counselor that's not a pastor.
Yeah, yeah. Who don't even mention spirituality. I mean, we talked about it, but his counsel wasn't
Right.
from a spiritual
Right.
standpoint, so it was hopeful. I actually liked him.
Yeah, he was cool.
Yeah,
he was cool.
So what's that? You got any more?
Advice.
Something that brought peace to your marriage.
Advice that brought peace.
PEAC.
Yeah, we already had the us time, but I think having me time.
Oh Jesus, yes,
is much needed as well.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, have your thing. Like, what is it that you do to get away?
What is it that I do?
I don't know what you do.
I know what you do.
I mean, you have girls' night sometimes. You go to different
No, I
things.
don't.
You don't have girls. You ain't never had girls' night.
No, we're talking about my
You
thing.
ain't ever been out.
That's that my thing. What is it that I do for me?
Probably your nails and all that.
He knows me very well. No, not my nails.
Oh, I ain't never been with you when you done your nails.
So what's your thing? Basketball?
It pretty much.
That's my point. Me doing my nail, that's my normal upkeep.
So what is your thing?
My thing is going to a hotel where I ain't got to be a wife or a mom. I want to be away by myself.
We all do.
That's my thing, though. Mental and emotional understanding of my deep thoughts and feelings. So y'all both right.
Wait.
I'm not sure if that's Willie or Tierra right now.
I don't know. I don't know, but that's hilarious.
Like, why?
I won't Tierra, Willie, Dingles. I won't. I will not.
Yeah, that's funny. You know what she said?
Yes. Hey, I'm just gonna call Tia like, yeah, I'm here.
Right.
Where is here?
Oh, I want to see the point.
Oh my goodness, I can't.
But yes, I do. I like my thing is so one thing me and you used to do because that became a big thing. We do have a lot of children. I think we got 6 together.
Man,
We got a lot of kids, and so
PEBT. Look us up.
I know we need some more of that. Don't we?
No, man.
Y'all, Ohio, come on, like
who work
fast
for the
track
government?
Oh, that's Tierra still.
Oh, all right, still Tierra. My bad.
So one thing we used to do is we had certain days of the week. Yes, thank you for chiming in.
Appreciate
Like
you,
that actually people chiming in and offering their perspective actually makes these conversations a lot easier. I mean, I guess even though we supposed to be talking to each other live, you know how weird that is. Like we just decide we're gonna talk to each other on live
I know that's very
and hope
weird.
people is gonna actually join us.
I know. Right? Sit there like, oh,
wait, what they say? No. So what we used to do is what your days was what Tuesdays and Thursdays?
Something like that.
Yeah, so we had like 2 days a week that was literally our time where for Jew he was going to play basketball. Like that was his time. He went to play basketball. On my days, see my thing is not always about going somewhere. If I could just not have to deal, like I can go upstairs to my room. Like people laugh at me all the time when I say I'm an introvert because I do stuff publicly, like it's just part of what I do. But I'm really truly an introvert. Like I like being by myself. Like I'm one of those people that I don't care if you don't invite me because I'm not coming because I'm going to be by myself and I'm going to enjoy being by myself.
Right.
So my thing is if you tell me Tia go to a hotel for a couple days, guess what?
You going?
I'm out. I'm going to the hotel. That's why when I had to go to Columbus, I'm like, yeah, y'all paying for it. I'm going to Columbus. Like it's just a thing.
Right. No, I get it.
So we are over income for EBT, but not that PEBT. We weren't over income for that.
Hey, you don't put our business out there. You don't put
You work at Kent State, so I mean
I know,
think that's subjective.
I'll still take some EBT.
I would too.
I'll take some PEBT. I'll take some BET.
Anybody selling stamps?
Don't do it. Lord, she didn't say that.
Not on live, I did.
Not on live, she did.
I mean, but you know, it is what it is. Yeah. So yes, peace of mind. Yes, that's exactly what it is. Like I like peace of mind.
Mm-hmm.
That's like there's literally when it's too like so my daughter, my 18-year-old daughter, when she was a baby, I'm gonna read this in a minute. When she was a baby, she would get overstimulated to where the only thing that would calm her down was we would literally take her up to her room, put her in her bed so she could just come back to normal. I'm exactly like that. When there's too much, I don't when we go somewhere after a couple hours, I'm like nudging you like, you ready? Is it time to go yet? Like I just need to get away. Like I've done my people time and now I need to chill out by myself. So yes. Thank you.
Appreciate you. That's my guy.
Everybody okay?
That's my guy.
Okay, we're gonna come back to your question real quick.
He lives a peace of mind too.
No, probably the PEBT.
Oh,
Okay, so
I'll let you know if we find it,
I
bro.
know, right? Because we didn't say that on live though. We
Not
didn't.
at all.
Not at all. How does trust get restored in a marriage? He needs both perspectives.
Slowly. That's all I got.
That's all you.
That's all I got.
That's all you got. I personally think you got to do some things that may make you uncomfortable to prove that you can, be that trustworthy person.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know how else to put that. Like I mean I think if so for me and you, if we want our marriage to work, we got to do some stuff, especially if trust has been broken in the marriage.
Right.
We got to do some stuff that we might not normally have to do so we can restore that. It takes work, and then you can't get so it'll be one of our shows, but we was hit with infidelity. And we had to work to restore the trust in our marriage. And it took work. It wasn't an easy thing. It came with a lot of questions, a lot of, a lot of everything, anything that you could think about. But, and this is why I say, so infidelity was a deal breaker for me, but apparently it wasn't a deal breaker because we were able to work through that. And here it is, 10 years after the fact, because that was literally 10 years ago. And we're still together. And not to say that certain stuff didn't, hit our marriage that, listen, I already said I'll be the one to talk about divorce, but it wasn't that thing again, and it had nothing to do with trust or lack of trust. But I don't know, like you really got to work. And then I'll say this as well. Although you have to be able to work to restore that trust, the opposite party who didn't break the trust have to be just as willing to let go of offense, let go of I'm looking around corners or, not turning that light bulb off every time it click back on. Like you got to work at that thing. And if both parties aren't willing to work at that thing and recognize that this is why we got to rebuild the trust, then I personally think it's not going to work because I don't think it's fair that you decide to stay in a marriage where trust has been broken, but then you're not willing to forget that person either. I don't think it's fair to you, nor do I think it's fair to the other person. Like if we're agreeing we're going to work at this thing and stay together, then that means we're working at this thing together. And if that's not part of it, then it is for me. In my understanding, it's better to go your separate ways versus being miserable because you really not willing when you said you was. What you got? Nothing else after I said all that?
I mean, I think I really think like prayer definitely has to be involved.
In rebuilding?
Yeah. I mean, I would say obviously, but it's not obvious for everybody.
Yeah,
But I always look at it like trust is a choice. Like you know what I'm saying? Like, so like you said, you make the choice. If you're making the choice to trust that person, then there's work that goes along with it. You know what I'm saying? You can't just say, yeah, I trust you, but you still do things that say, I don't trust you. You know what I'm saying? You still say things that say, I don't trust you or whatever the case. But like you said, it's work. It's just work. And I mean, there's no time frame. There's no time stamp. There's no time limit. It's work. And it's usually not something that's going to happen tomorrow or next week. You know what I'm saying? Even in the next year, you never know. You know what I mean? It's gradual. It's something that's fluid that through activity, through actions and stuff like that, you kind of rebuild and show that person that, hey, like, okay, you can try, like, you don't gotta worry about it. You know what I mean? But like you said, then that other person who's choosing to trust you, also is work for them because they have to make sure that they're not now nitpicking different things. You know what I'm saying? To where it's like you're creating that argument where it's like, well, you don't trust me or get baby sign. for a couple of days at least. But no, it's just really working and making that concerted effort. And I mean, like you said, if you're deciding that it's not a deal breaker,
Right.
then be all in. Just like the marriage, be all in. Like if you're all in, you can rebuild and it can work if both people are. If one person is lukewarm or a person is like kind of waiting on that one thing that kind of look like something that used to be, then like she said, my advice would be to just
Yeah, because
go your
it
separate
ain't
ways.
worth it. That's like I always tell people all the time. It takes a lot of work to stay mad. This is why like my anger for me, since I've been delivered, blows over very very quickly. I don't hold grudges. Like you can do me dirty, and although I may separate myself and not really deal with you on that level, I ain't mad at you. It's a lot of energy.
Right.
Like it's a lot of negative energy. First off,
Right.
so if I've agreed to stay in this marriage where trust has been broken,
Right.
do you know how much energy it takes to be mad at you for the rest of my life for what you did?
It's almost like frowning and smiling.
Yeah, it's
They
just
say it takes so many more
too,
muscles to
that's too
frown.
much.
Right.
Like, I like peace of mind. So,
Right.
yeah, I'm not saying that it wasn't things that you have to work through in that situation, but to be mad for the rest of your life
Right.
because he made a mistake, that to me don't make sense.
Right.
Like I'd rather be by myself and be mad
Right.
versus looking at you and making the effort to stay mad.
Even if you by yourself, you're not going to be like you'll be mad, but you'll have peace. Like we talking about peace, like you'll have that peace because you'll be like, look, in my opinion, I never felt like it was going to get back to a place where I was going to have peace with us being together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so yeah, you might be mad for a minute, like I can't believe it, but at the end of the day,
people really say cuss words at that point, though.
I was going to say the N word. No, that's not.
I know that's what you was going to say.
Oh,
I'm just saying in that instant, that's not the word I said.
But yeah, like it just is. That's what I said. It's a choice, and it's like if you're not jumping in with 2 feet, like both parties, if you ain't jumping in with 2 feet, trying to make sure. And I'm not saying you won't say different things at times or feel a certain way, but thinking before you speak. You know what I'm saying? Or like really like it take a lot of self-evaluation for real on both parties because you got to make sure that this is. Am I willing to fight? Am I in it for real? Because I mean, when trust is broken, there's going to be times where both parties are like, it would be easier to just bounce. Yeah, even the person who did the wrong or broke the trust. It's going to be times where you like, man, it would be easier to just be like, I'm out. Like you don't trust, like you don't trust me anyway. I'm gone.
Yeah. So I do have a question because Jew is very very time conscious. So
2 minutes.
Do you think it has to be an end? Like, cause I heard what you said, but do you think it has to come to a point where it has been restored? Like, and I'm not saying time wise per se, but I think after a certain period of time, it is either restored or it's not. And
of course, but nobody can tell you what that time is. Like just like we talk about people healing in different time periods, nobody can tell you what that is. But I can guarantee that you'll know if it hasn't been.
Well, I mean, that's what I mean. Like,
and then that's up to each individual. That's up to each couple or each individual.
Well, I mean, I get that part, but I guess I'm still thinking like, how fair is it to be in that situation for years?
It's not like that. It should never go years, because if it goes years, to me, that means y'all never, one or both parties never fully went all in.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So like maybe it is best to separate, and then if it's meant to be and we can rebuild separately as friends or whatever the case, then come back together. But if it's going on for years, I don't, because that means there's still something in one of those people that's saying, okay, either I can't trust you, or he or she can trust me, but they keep throwing stuff in my face.
Yeah, I would rather leave. Yeah. Like, even as, let's just say I'm the wronged party, I would literally rather leave than keep that. But I mean, that's just me. Like, I mean, I like my peace of mind. So, for me, if we can't get it right, I would rather just leave than have to keep going through that. That's too much energy. That's literally.
I got you, bro.
And I get migraines. It ain't worth it.
Right. And I mean, but that goes back to what you said. That takes some strength though on both parties to be like, listen, like we're probably better off separated, even if it's okay. We separate and don't technically get a divorce. Like, okay, we separate, try to build whatever, and then come back together. But that takes a lot. I mean, it do. And
definitely.
But if you still in that thing after a couple of years trying to rebuild trust, I don't think both people are all in. That's just my personal opinion on it. Especially if you because like if you praying about it and you're getting direction.
Yeah, at some point,
you either ignoring God telling you to leave, or ignoring something God's telling you to do and stay. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because if he's telling you to stay, he's gonna tell you how to restore that thing. But if he's telling you to leave,
giving good advice. I mean, that's good.
Okay, it's 10 o'clock, folks. It's 10:01.
That's a good piece. I mean,
you silly.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's very
sure. Ain't even worth it. You can't get dinner cooked because you mad. Ain't even worth it, bro.
That's like a greedy comment right there.
Can't get the big piece of chicken because somebody mad.
That's terrible.
Oh my goodness, man. We love y'all, man. We appreciate y'all so much.
We do. One of these days we'll kind of delve into that. I was thinking like maybe we could do that because our anniversary is actually coming up. I mean, I think it's worth it.
I don't want to. No.
Of course not. I think we should.
I guess we may.
A little something.
A little bit.
Just a little bit. Yeah. It is very little, but I mean.
Oh, that was a low blow.
I'm just agreeing.
It's cool.
It's cool. All right, y'all.
We appreciate y'all, man.
Yeah, we back
till next week.
Is it next week? When is our anniversary is on it's on a Monday.
It's on a Monday.
It ain't on a Wednesday, but I mean, we're gonna figure out something marriagey to talk about.
I don't even know if that's a word.
I mean, I feel like it's a word.
We're gonna figure out something marriagey to talk about.
We're gonna figure out something marriagey to talk about. It ain't next week, it's the week after, right?
Week after.
Yeah. So our anniversary, 13 years.
3 weeks.
Oh yeah, because we still in August,
3
ain't
weeks.
we?
Yeah, still August.
We coming up on 13 years, September what?
September what? 19th.
Oh, okay, okay. So September 19th, we will be married. We will be married 13 years.
Yes, sir.
13
comes
years.
From lessons. Certainly does, brother.
So we're gonna do something marriagey. Is that a word?
No, it's not a word.
It
ain't a word, marriagey. But if y'all got some ideas or whatever, shoot them to us. Hop in our DMs.
Oh, how many years?
Okay, September 22nd.
I know a lot of people that got married in September.
It's a good month.
It's because we married in that month.
It's a good month.
That's why. So we'll be back next week, and we're gonna come up with something marriagey to talk about. So what week is that? The 19th is that Monday. So that would be what, the 21st?
Yeah.
Yep, the 21st.
Marriagey.
Something marriagey. Oh, 10 years. Congrats.
There you go.
That's a good number there.
Congrats, brother.
So we'll be back next week and talk the pain reality way as usual. Is that a word? Usual?
No.
Okay. I mean, it sounded good to me, but whatever. So, but every Wednesday, 9 o'clock, unless I have to go out. Like, I like to travel and go talk to people about domestic violence. And so if I have to go out of town, I just be putting shameless plugs about the work that I do. Anyways. So if I have to go out of town, it is what it is. But okay. We'll see y'all next week. Y'all have a good night. An amazing night, a blessed night. And we'll talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.